Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big, weird, wild world out there, folks, and here we stand. Al pie del cañón, ready for anything. I'm Rob, and you're listening to...
The ProBoh Show!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special podcast-exclusive episode of The ProBoh Show. It is currently 8:30 a.m. Central European Time. 2:30 a.m. My God, my brain's slow today. 2:30 a.m. for our friends in the east of the United States, Eastern Standard Time, and 2:30 p.m. for our friends in Hong Kong and the Philippines. How are you doing out there, guys? A big good morning to my friends in the chat. That's BTI, Vero, Pedro, J Romanova, Vero, Pedro. Again, some of you get read twice. And of course, the mighty Jareom. If you want to be as cool as those guys, you can tune into the stream any day, any weekday, between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. Central European Time. And I do applaud those who do so. You just go to twitch.tv/professional bohemian. It is that simple, my friends. Wow, I thoroughly tortured the elves, poor guys, this morning. And they gave me an amazing show for today. So let's see. In 100 Humans, I asked them for reasons someone might send you flowers. Reasons someone might send you flowers. Nombra un motivo por el que alguien podría enviarte flores. All right. In Complete the News, we find out how a man traveled 38.4 miles in Missouri. It's a good one. And if we have time, we'll also get into other news. Today's unpopular opinion, an interesting one. Working 20% less. Trabajar un 20%. Is it 20% or 20? Yeah, I think it's 20%. Trabajar un 20% menos is better than earning 20% more. Es mejor que ganar 20% más. Porciento más. I don't know. Not doing puente, actually working today, says Pedro. Okay, so yeah, for our international listeners, this week's a bit of a weird one. This is why we've got 2 podcast exclusive episodes. There'll also be 2 podcast exclusives next week on Tuesday and Thursday, because Mr. Richard Vaughan uses the big studio. So usually Spain has this weird thing where they have a bank holiday in the middle of the week. And what does Spain do? One of the greatest traditions in history. We take the other day off. And we call that a bridge, a puente. I took the puente. Oh, it's joyous. It's joyous. And I'm going to have a good weekend, guys. I'm going to France this weekend. Actually going to Cannes. Ooh, look at you. Sounds too expensive for you, Rob. It is. That's why I'm only going for 24 hours. And that's it. And that's literally my whole weekend dedicated to that. Should we get into some news, friends? Oh, by the way, the temperature. For those of you who've been keeping up with the show every single day, we're under some kind of weird heat dome. There's a weird kind of phenomena. Whereas here in October, the temperatures have been unnaturally high. And today they've finally starting to drop. It's where Vero's living right now. It's 15 degrees around there. So set your watches by the fact that everyone in Spain's going to be saying, oh, it's too cold. In about 5 minutes, que frío hace. Madre mía. Admit it, Rob, those who you mention more than once are your favorite, says Vero. Could be. I will neither confirm or deny. Elves, no. Min's joining us in the chat all the way from the Netherlands. How you doing, my dude? All right, should we look at some news? Okay, AI news, more artificial intelligence news from the leaders, or certainly one of the leaders in the industry. By the way, I get a lot of comments like, "Why do you report so much on AI?" Because it's the biggest news that there is right now. Yeah, I mean, okay, there are lots of conflicts and things that we need to stay up to date on. I get that, but the news which will affect absolutely everyone's lives on the planet is AI and the furthering of these technologies. So here we go. OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, DALL-E, all these words you've probably heard before. Well, OpenAI is the parent company. They have quietly changed their core values. This is coming from Semaphore. Semaphore.com. OpenAI, the organization behind ChatGPT, has recently made subtle changes to its core values, as displayed on its website. Previously, the company's career page showcased 6 core values. Audacious, I think is audaz in Spanish. Thoughtful, reflexivo. By the way, guys, there's no Natch today, so if I deserve a nivelazo, you have to tell me in the chat. Unpretentious, sin pretensiones. Impact-driven, impacto. Impact-driven and collaborativo, or colaboración, and growth-orientated. Orientado al crecimiento. Those were their initial core values. Nivelazo to the elves, says Pedro. You guys, you doubters.
¿Será posible? Vaya nivelazo.
All right, translation elf, that one's for you. I'm not going to pretend it's mine. So yeah, they've changed their core values on their careers side of their website. However, a recent update has reduced the list to 5, introducing AGI focus as the primary value, emphasizing the development of artificial general intelligence. Again, if you're a regular listener to the show, you know what that is. Artificial general intelligence is artificial intelligence comparable to that of a human being. We actually reported on this before, that Sam Altman, one of his driving aims is to replace what he calls the median human. Are you terrified yet? The updated values also include intense and scrappy, scale. Well, let's actually go through some of these new core values. So, enfoque in AGI and AGI focus. They're committed to building safe, beneficial AGI that will have a massive positive impact on humanity's future. If we replace the politicians, am I right, guys? If you didn't listen to that show, that was on Wednesday. By the way, guys, the video for Wednesday's show is actually open on YouTube. You can actually see the VOD. And what a show it was, talking about how politicians could and should be replaced by artificial intelligence. Intense and scrappy. Intensidad y dinamismo, maybe scrappy there, like dynamic. Scale. We believe that scale in our models, our systems, and ourselves, our processes, and our ambitions is the magic. They want to, again, this is just a rebranding of their initial focus of, growth orientation. And then finally, team spirit. Espíritu de equipo. Nivelazo again. Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh, I miss you, Natch. Come back.
¿Será posible? Vaya nivelazo.
So there you go. Yeah. So yeah, changing their AI focus. I don't think this is so worrying, honestly. It's nothing that we didn't know before they made this official change. We kind of knew, following Sam Altman's movements and interviews, they has a real focus on creating artificial intelligence that can be of real use in the workplace. However, what are our governments doing to assure the income of their constituents? Nothing. Telling you guys, politician GPT, we need it. If they were incentivized by being replaced, you watch how quickly things would move. Okay, what's next? In a new era of deepfakes, AI makes real news anchors report fake stories. Yeah, this is a phenomenon that is spreading like wildfire on social media. En una nueva era de deepfakes, la inteligencia artificial hace que los presentadores de noticias reales informen de historias falsas. No need to say nivelazo. I know your fingers are so sore now. That was pretty awesome. Thank you, translation elf. So yeah, this is sad but true. Deepfake news segments featuring prominent journalists and TV networks are increasingly circulating online, causing concern among experts, especially as the next major election approaches. In the US, of course, we're talking about here. This, by the way, is an article from Forbes, so a very reputable news outlet. Natch, please come back. Rob is mixing the buttons again, says Vero. True story. How are you doing, Mr. Cruzando? Joining a bit late. Better late than never, my friends. Social media influencers like TikTok user or TikToker Krishna Sahe have been using generative AI to create realistic-looking news segments with top anchors from major outlets such as CBS and CNN. These fake segments often gain more traction than legitimate news clips. For instance, one of Sachet's deepfakes received over 300,000 likes on TikTok, while genuine video from the same news show garnered just 7,000 likes. All right. So you've got to wonder where policy decisions will be made with regards to social media. We've seen the out-and-out breakdown of Twitter as in terms of an information source, with so much fake news being reported there from the front lines of the conflict in Gaza right now, and this kind of thing just makes modern news and modern information gathering very, very worrying. People already being indoctrinated in some strange beliefs based on information that is quite often secondhand or just plain nonsense. So let's continue with this story. While many platforms have policies against deepfakes, enforcement remains a challenge. The rise of AI tools makes creating such content more accessible and has intensified fears about political and potential misuse of deepfakes, especially in the context of misinformation campaigns targeting high-stake events like elections. Does this worry you? It certainly worries me. I did actually read another news story saying that the CEO of TikTok has been given 24 hours to address these concerns. I'll try and follow up with that in Monday's show and see how things are progressing. But yeah, certainly worrying stuff. Okay, next piece of news, and maybe the last one for today. The IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. Oh, this is a good news. Strap yourselves in, guys. The IRS tells Microsoft it owes $29 billion in back taxes. Are you not sick being just, your average working Joe? Struggling to make ends meet, struggling to maybe having to make decisions when it comes to your family's dietary concerns. Maybe we don't need to eat so much this month. Maybe we need to put a little away. Maybe we don't go on vacation this year. Not just because of taxes, but taxes definitely play a part in that, right? Perhaps we wouldn't be in such bleak financial times if big corporations actually paid their taxes. So this news for me is beautiful. So the IRS tells Microsoft it owes $29 billion in back taxes. This is coming from The Verge. The Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, has notified Microsoft that it owes $28.9 billion in back taxes, including penalties and interest for the tax years between 2004 and 2013. Microsoft's corporate vice president for worldwide tax and customs, Daniel Goff, mentioned in a blog post that the company has since changed its corporate structure and practices. He emphasized that the IRS concerns pertain to past actions, not current practices. Goff also noticed that the amounts Microsoft paid under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act could reduce the final tax owed up to $10 billion. And it's still $18 billion, my friend. Microsoft plans to contest the IRS's proposed adjustments and does not anticipate a resolution within the next year. Good news, right? For me, this is good news. Maybe we should not only focus on Microsoft, but also Google, all these companies that either save money or operate in tax havens. Oh, it's about time, right, guys? So it's interesting that this is coming from the States. But hopefully that's this is a kind of decision making that will spread worldwide. I don't understand why, in the middle of the 21st century, mankind continues to allow conflicts like the one in Ukraine and Israel. What is happening to us? Yeah. Well, the Israeli conflict really goes back. I'm not going to say it's a religious war, because in reality it's not. Oof, do I get into this in today's show? I was actually thinking about recording something special and posting it on YouTube with regards to the Israel-Palestine conflict. Let me just say right now, right, there is a little part of me that says ignoring this conflict is just as bad as talking about it in a show of this nature. So all I will say with regards to the Israel-Palestine conflict, the Ukraine and Russia conflict, things that I don't really dive into, is that on both sides there are human beings. Human beings that are suffering massive losses of life based on decisions made by a relatively few people. And that is a concern, and that is something that's absolutely heartbreaking. I see a lot of rabble-rousing and calls for action and more loss of life, and I think that is disgusting, and we should really be thinking about people and their well-being. I don't want to get into my I don't want to start taking sides and things, especially when it comes to the Palestine conflict. But it's worth mentioning, I think, that Hamas doesn't really represent the whole of Palestine. I know you would say, well, they were voted in, but it doesn't represent the Palestinian people in my eyes. That's not condoning their horrific actions, obviously, but it is a terrorist organization. So yeah, my dim view on what's happening in the world right now is just that. I take the side of anyone who's suffering with these conflicts. I take the side of anyone on either side of these conflicts who are losing lives, losing their relatives, losing their security. That's the side and the position that I take. Okay, anyway, guys, so that's the news. Let's get into today's unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
Okay, how are we doing? All right, let's very quickly catch up with the chat. I know I've opened a Pandora's box now, but let's try and keep it focused. Pedro says in response to Vero, I guess the question's what's not happening to us. We remain the same absurd, conflictive species. We haven't evolved a bit, says Pedro. Certainly a lot of evidence for that right now. Min says, I don't get why people are so adamant on choosing a side. Hamas is a terrorist organization slaughtering normal people, and Israel is an aggressive nation that's killing normal people. They're both poo. Yeah, there's a lot of truth in that statement too. Okay, let's get into today's unpopular opinion, friends. All right, what is an unpopular opinion? It's a brain fart, un pedo cerebral. I share it with you on my social media. You guys opine there, you give me your opinion there, but the real decision makers are the wonderful boys and girls who join us in the show, the warriors. If you want to be part of that live audience, by the way, just like Min, Pedro, Vero, Mr. Cruzando, all the people that we've mentioned, Jareo, then it's very easy. You just go to twitch.tv/professional bohemian between 8:30 and 9:30 Central European time and join in. Okay, today's unpopular opinion is working 20% less is better than earning 20% more. What is the translation of that? Translation elf, wake up. Trabajar un 20% menos es mejor que ganar un 20% más. All right. Okay, first of all, we're going to start off, as we usually do, by reading the ProBoh Show Elves' pros and cons. So here we go. So, arguing that, working 20% less is better than earning 20% more. Choosing time over money. Here we go. Working less can improve work-life balance, providing individuals with more time to engage in personal activities, hobbies, and spending time with loved ones. Reducing work hours can lead to less stress and better mental health. It can also offer more time for physical activities, potentially leading to improved physical health. Working fewer hours might lead to increased productivity during the working hours due to being better rested and more focused. And there is actually quite a lot of evidence to support that. And finally, the environmental impact. Less commuting, if applicable, means reduced carbon footprint, less congestion, and a potential decrease in transportation costs. I'm not sure how the elves there are drawing a line between less transportation costs for fewer cars on the road. Perhaps due to more... I don't know. I don't know how it's drawing that line, but anyway, the elves are the elves. Next, in the con column, disagreeing with the point, saying, no. Earning 20% more is way better than working 20% less. First point, earning more can lead to increased financial security, allowing for savings, investments, and preparing for future needs or emergencies. Increased income can improve one's standard of living, offering opportunities to travel and engage in desired experiences or access to better healthcare and education. A higher salary often indicates a higher position or greater responsibility, which might be seen as career progress or could lead to further opportunities down the line. And finally, an economic boost. From a broader perspective, higher earnings can lead to increased consumer spending, potentially stimulating economic growth. And that's where the kind of where I pull the brakes on the time argument is that it's true. The more money people have, the more money is poured back into the economy. I mean, when I say people, I mean the vast majority of people, not a few individuals that hoard wealth at the top. Anyway, let's see what the chat is saying. Mr. Cruthando, and finally, normal people are those who suffer the wars. The situation is so sad. Agreed. That's the real takeaway here. The situation is just sad. Yeah. The elves agree. Vero says, true. In my humble opinion, the ideal thing would be earning 20% more and working 20% less. That's what tortured elves are for. Aren't they, Rob? True story. That's what the tortured elves are for. Shut up, elves. Put the trombone down. That's what you're for being tortured and generating light entertainment. Yeah, great point. Mr. Cruthando says, as soon as I have enough money, I prefer working fewer hours and having more free time. Amen. Min says, I think in general, working less is nicer than earning more. However, if you're below a certain threshold, you definitely want more money. I think it just depends on your situation. Okay, so there, Min, you're going to get a ProBoh approved.
That gets the ProBoh stamp of approval.
I have a gut feeling on this, and again, it's an opinion. I have a gut feeling on this, is that the majority of people who voted false here is because they're struggling to make ends meet now. But if everyone were in a comfortable position where they could, feed their families, just get by, maybe not an immense amount of disposable income, but a comfortable life, I think if you were to poll all of those people, it would be almost unanimously true. Free time outweighs more money. So, but I did post this poll on Instagram, and they said, what do you think they said? I'm going to tell you right now. Here we go. So I said working 20% less is better than earning 20% more. Instagram said 67% true. But Rob, you gave the elves 100% less money in exchange for 100% more work. Yeah. And I put a roof over their head in a beautiful cage. Where occasionally I'll toss them scraps from the kitchen. That is a bonus, my friends. Okay, Pedro says, I agree with the unpopular opinion, but I don't think work-life balance is just a quantitative issue. 20% less working hours can generally make a more positive impact on our lives than 20% salary increase. But if you don't use this 20% more free time wisely, it will just be more time, not necessarily a good life experience. But surely, and I agree wholeheartedly, but surely the opportunity. So we're talking 20% less, right? Imagine you have every Friday or every Monday off. A 3-day weekend is, wow. Imagine the energy you go into work on Monday. I'm one of those people, I'm kind of a workaholic. Like these two shows that I'm doing, for example, I'm doing them through my day off. Both yesterday's and today's, making podcast exclusive episodes. I enjoy my work. Okay, particularly this part of it. I'm not in the office crunching Excels, which I have been known to do. But this part of my work I thoroughly enjoy. Most of us aren't so lucky. Most of us are in my position crunching Excels. If I could take 20% less of that, I would prefer it over 20% more cash. But what does this tell us about capitalism and perhaps a failure in our understanding with regards to capitalism? This is where this subject gets really fascinating for me. All right, guys, we are going to have to go into a very, very quick commercial break right now, but it is a fascinating subject. And we'll get into this, perhaps this failure in the vision of capitalism in a second. Right, comrades? Oh my God. All right, friends. Well, look, so many things you could have been doing this morning. Instead of doing those things, you took the time to spend some time with me, and it means the absolute world. Friends, I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll post the poll and we'll find out, is working 20% less better than earning 20% more? We'll see you soon. Hey guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. That's patreon.com/professional bohemian. There you'll find VODs of the episodes as they are recorded live, blogs, vlogs, and behind-the-scenes content. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can do so on twitch.tv/professional bohemian, and you can participate in the polls we use in the show on Instagram @professional bohemian or Twitter @ProBoh, ProBoh. Okay, on with the show.
The ProBoh Show!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. If you're tuned in live, it's currently 9 a.m. Central European Time. Oh my God, what a show we're having! We spoke briefly about this new era of deepfakes, where people are falsifying real news anchors, presentadores de noticias, real news anchors reporting fake news. That is worrying, especially given the conflict that's going on in the world right now, the elections about to take place in America and elsewhere. And the onus for me is very much on the platforms to be able to control this issue. Let's see if they do take the bull by the horns, as it were, and really get into this, because it is worrying. Then we looked at OpenAI. They quietly changed their core values. The core values of the company, featuring quite strongly the advent of AGI, an artificial intelligence equal to or more powerful than the human brain. Let's see if they can do that. Sam Altman, I read somewhere, he says by 2030 he wants to be in an era of AGI. Let's see. Valores fundamentales, core values. All right, and finally, and we finished off there by reporting on Microsoft owing the Internal Revenue Service $29 billion. I mean, geez Louise. When you look at the national debt in the States, okay, it's in the trillions now, but surely that would make a dent in it, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, friends? Imagine all corporations were paying appropriate taxes. Imagine that. Imagine how much easier life might be for the regular boys and girls out there. And then, anyway, comrades, and then we moved on to today's unpopular opinion. But is it really unpopular? It wasn't on Instagram. 67% of people said it's true that working 20% less, trabajar un 20% menos, or 20% menos, is better than earning 20% more. Es mejor que ganar un 20% más. We spoke about it in some great length in the chat. Sadly, we had some internet issues there. I did receive some messages here from some people on Instagram. Let's get into those right now. Aria says, honestly, working 20% less could mean more time for brainstorming and innovation. Sometimes less is more when it comes to productivity. That's a really interesting point. Look, when you think about some of the greatest leaps in human understanding, for example, all right, let's look at Albert Einstein, the theory of relativity, E equals mc squared. He wasn't working as a physicist when he came up with that. He was working as a patent clerk. More free time for the human imagination to run wild, I think would be in the net benefit of humanity as a whole, if that makes sense. So thank you for that, Aria. You get a...
That gets the ProBoh stamp of approval.
Theo here says, very familiar, he says, I've been on my feet for decades, mate. Working 20% less would be a blessing for my back and knees. Besides more time with the grandkids. Priceless. All right, Theo. Leila says, from a financial perspective, earning 20% more can significantly fast-track your goals. It can lead to more investments and potentially an earlier retirement. Hard to argue with that understanding. But are any of us going to retire? I mean, pretty soon the population will be vastly weighed towards elderly people. I mean, if you think you're going to be retiring, I think that unless you've got an individual pension plan, which most people don't, I don't. We're going to be working till the day we die, friends. I mean, this is my thing. Hopefully, if I can make enough cash to survive with this podcast and the other things that I do, follow me on Patreon, by the way. Patreon.com/professional bohemian. Get all the VODs for every single episode, my friends. Don't miss a beat, as well as all the news articles. There you go. That's enough advertisement. So yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. Earning 20% more can potentially lead to a more comfortable life. And Max finally says, life isn't just about the grind. If working less means I can play more gigs, travel, or even just relax, then I'm all in. And it seems to be many of us agree with this standpoint, right? But how many of us? So I posted the poll in the chat regarding this topic. Working 20% less is better than earning 20% more. Trabajar un 20% menos es mejor que ganar un 20% más. You guys said 83% true. This is where we're getting to really kind of, for me, what might be a failure in economists' understanding of people and our motivations. I mean, the capitalist model kind of breaks down under scrutiny around this subject, because I think the vast amount of people would prefer to earn less and earn the same and have more free time than earn more, flying in the face of conventional economic wisdom. So it's interesting, right? Pedro says, do you think your free time after you're 65 has the same value of 20% more than when you were young? Ooh, that's an interesting point. I think so. Personally, for the individual, I think so. I mean, look, I'm 45 right now. 10 years ago, I would have appreciated that that 20% more free time than to the same degree as I would appreciate it in 10 years' time when I'm 55. I mean, I know that's just a 20-year kind of spread, and I'm projecting maybe when I'm 55, I just want to work every hour of the day, but I doubt that's the case. Welcome back, Vero. Pedro voted true as well, 83% true. So is this a failure of our understanding of the human condition, of our priorities, of what really motivates us? I would say it is. And I think to the vast, to a very high degree, most of us value our time more than what we receive as reimbursement for investing that time in a company. Okay? And I think the people here who do vote false, that's because they're at a position where they have no disposable income and they are finding it very, very difficult to make ends meet. So that 20% extra in pay would only take them to a place where they can, enjoy their life or the free time they have to a higher degree. For those people who are leading a more or less comfortable life right now, which is an increasingly smaller part of the population, if you earn enough to pay your bills, maybe you have enough money for takeout food or a meal once or twice a month with your loved ones, or if you're just living a comfortable life, I think the vast majority of those people would just prefer more free time. And I think that really reveals a discrepancy in what we see as human values. Not all of us are motivated by accumulating wealth. Because let's face it, friends, and this will be my final thought on this issue. Let's face it, when it comes to those final moments, those final moments on this mortal coil, we will not think about how much money we've accumulated in the bank, how many jobs we've created, how many, that new computer or TV, flat screen TV. Your memories aren't going to go to that. Your memories are going to go to the times we spent with our family and friends, our loved ones, the time we've spent doing the things we love, whether that's traveling or creating or whatever it is. That's what we're going to think about. And I think for me, that really unveils a real dint in how economists think we think. On that note, friends, let's move on to today's 100 Humans. No, I'm turning into Jerry Springer in my old age. As a final thought. All right, my friends, it was a long walk to work today across snow-capped mountains and through river valleys, and on that walk, I encountered 100 humans, and I asked them all a question. Today's question is, name a reason someone might send you flowers. Nombra un motivo por el que alguien podría enviarte flores. I asked them that question, they gave me their answers. I am in possession of the top 7 answers right now. Your job in the live audience is to identify those top 7 answers. Or a reason someone might send you flowers. Un motivo por el que alguien podría enviarte flores. Woo! Let's see, guys, who's going to be the first person to answer. Bridge here says, life, Rob, is for living, not for having. Oh, wow.
That gets the ProBoh stamp of approval.
Amen to that. Amen to that. That's some wisdom there dropped by the Bridge. Thank you, thank you. So what do you think? Name a reason someone might send you flowers. The chat very quiet on this one. What are you thinking, guys? A reason someone might send you flowers. I'm dead, says the Bridge. It doesn't have to be you that's died, Bridge. Maybe you're going to a funeral or something. Is funeral there? Funeral, a reason someone might send flowers. Funeral. Is it there? Yes, it is. Well done, Bridge. Bridge kicking us off today with a correct answer. Funeral. 5 of 100 humans said that. It's in the position number 6. Min says, a birthday. Would you send flowers on someone's birthday? Is it there? Yes, it is, Min. Well done. Well done, sir. 37 of 100 humans said birthday. And Min, it's the number 1 answer. I have never received flowers, says Pedro. Yeah, no, me neither. Me neither. We have to project ourselves into the minds of people who do receive flowers. Or send flowers. Pedro, I've sent flowers. You must have sent flowers. Come on. All right, so name a reason someone might send you flowers. Birthday. Well done, Min. Number 1 answer. Sex change, says Pedro. Congratulations, you are now a boy or a girl. Is sex change there? No, it's not. It's not there. Come on now. Okay, Min says an illness. You're sick. Someone might send you flowers because you're ill. Is illness there? Yes, it is. Well done. I'll tell you something, friends. Min is the man to beat right now with 2 correct answers. Sickness is there. 5 of 100 humans say that someone might send you flowers if you're sick. 6 of 100 humans, 5th place. Well done. And let's see. Anniversary. An anniversary of something special. Is an anniversary there? Yes, it is. Well done. I thought that this might be the easiest one. But right now, it's Min that's leading the pack here, friends. A declaration of love. A declaration of love, says Pedro from Instagram. Is love a reason you'd send someone flowers? Well, according to the 100 humans, it is. Well done. It is, in fact, the fourth most popular answer, with 6 of 100 humans saying in love. Oh. All right, you guys have got 2 more to get. Well, let's see. Because they hate you and you're allergic to flowers, says Min. All right, losing a loved one. We had that one. Funeral, well done. As a farewell, to say goodbye. Here's some flowers for your journey. Is to say goodbye there? No, it's not. Pedro here does have one interesting idea. He says to say sorry as an apology. I'm sorry I stayed out all night, came back drunk, smelling of someone's perfume. Here are some flowers. That's not a memory, by the way. I don't know. I know I'm painting a very dim view of who I am. It was a joke, friends. Come on. Is apology there? Yes, it is. Well done. It is the 7th most popular answer with 3 of 100 humans. Guys, you have only 1 more to get. And come on, it's the most obvious one. It's a special time of year. It's just one day. Flower day. Around this time of year, you get inundated with adverts online from Interflora and people like that. It's quite closely related to the 4th most popular answer. Okay, I'm seeing answers popping up in the chat here. Valentine's? Is it Valentine's Day? Is that a motive for sending flowers or receiving flowers? According to our 100 humans, yes, it is. Well done. Okay, friends, just 1 clue there, and you have completed today's 100 humans. So I asked them today to name a reason someone might send you flowers. Nombra un motivo por el que alguien podría enviarte flores. They said, in position number 7, an apology. An apology. To say sorry. I'm sorry I broke your favorite vase. Here's some flowers. Una disculpa, I think you say in Spanish. In position number 6, we had a funeral. Funeral. A funeral. In position number 5, we had because you're sick. Enfermo, because you're ill. In position number 4, we had an in love, to be in love, enamorados. Oh, here's some flowers. Isn't that a weird gesture, by the way? You know, if you're in love. Here's something that will die in about 2 days to commemorate our everlasting love. Surely, like, there are a billion other things that would be more appropriate. Like a Lego. Here's a Lego Millennium Falcon to represent our undying love. I don't know. Okay, in position number 3, we had an anniversary, or an anniversario. An anniversary. 7 of 100 humans said that one. In position number 2, we had Valentine's Day. San Valentin. You know, here you go, here's some flowers. It's true, actually. Thinking about what Pedro said, I've never been gifted flowers. Ever. I wouldn't like it if someone did. But still, you know, people don't know that. And finally, in position number 1, with birthday, we had Min. Congratulations, sir. Cumpleaños. 37 of 100 humans said that. And friends, that's today's 100 humans. Let's move on to complete the news.
Complete the news.
Okay, well done, friends. This is Complete the News. I'm going to give you a news headline. But, my friends, I'm going to leave out some important information. Your job in the chat is to identify the missing information from the 3 options I give you. If you're one of the people watching the stream but aren't contributing, friends, this is your moment, because all you have to write is A, B, or C. All right, let's get into it. So here we go. This is a funny video. You can access that video, again, through my Patreon. Okay. A Missouri man paddles 38.4 miles in blank. Un hombre de Missouri rema 38.4 millas en blank. So what did he paddle in? Was it A, a coffin? It's quite a dark one, right? Was it A, a coffin? Was it B, a hollowed out pumpkin? Or was it C, a refrigerator? A Missouri man paddles 38.4 miles in blank. Is it a coffin? Autud? Is it B, a hollowed out pumpkin? What do you say, calabaza? Calabaza hueca? Or is it C, a refrigerator? Una nevera? A, B, or C? Woo! Yeah. It's the weirdest exercise anyone has ever had. So this happened in Missouri. Is that any kind of a hint? Maybe. Maybe not. Okay, I'm seeing a few C's appear in the chat. A refrigerator. Okay, yeah, it's official. In fact, no one's voting for B or A, not a coffin or a hollowed out pumpkin. Everyone's saying C, refrigerator, nevera. Let's find out if you guys are correct. So here we go. Vero says A, a coffin. All right. Let's see. A Missouri man paddles 38.4 miles in. The answer was B, a hollowed out pumpkin. Oh, friends, no one got that. I'm celebrating. It was me. I like to win on a Friday. It was a calabaza hueca, a hollowed out pumpkin. On October 11th, a Missouri resident named Steve Quenney transformed a pumpkin he cultivated weighing 1,208 pounds into a makeshift boat. He then paddled his unique vessel for 38.4 miles along the Missouri River, starting from Kansas City, Kansas. Oh my God. This feat surpassed the Guinness World Record of 37.5 miles. So he's now a Guinness World Record holder for probably the most useless skill in the world. People are crazy, says Vero. Yeah.
That gets the ProBoh stamp of approval.
A big pumpkin. It was a big pumpkin. All right. We've got time, my friends. We've got time for one more. All right. This one's a little bit more macabre. Let's see if you can get it. If you live in Bridgeport, I believe, is in Connecticut. This is from a Connecticut news organization. If you live in Bridgeport, blank may be sleeping next door. If you live in Bridgeport, blank may be sleeping next door. Si vives en Bridgeport, blank puede estar durmiendo al lado. But what is it? Is it A, an axe murderer? Un asesino con hacha? Is it B, a Teletubby? In Spanish, a Teletubby, but pronounced different. Or is it C, a cannibal? Un cannibal, I think. All right. So if you live in Bridgeport, blank could be sleeping next door, or maybe sleeping next door. Puede estar durmiendo al lado. But is it A, an axe murderer, B, a Teletubby, or C, a cannibal? Each one of those equally as heinous as the last. No one wants to live next to Tinky Winky. Come on. No one. Okay. I don't know if it's for the memes, but I'm seeing B is currently in the lead. If you live in Bridgeport, Connecticut, blank may be sleeping next door. Is it A, un asesino con hacha, an axe murderer, B, a Teletubby, or C, un cannibal, a cannibal? Okay, it seems like, why not an axe murdering cannibalistic Teletubby? You can only pick one. Well, look, B is in the lead. So you guys say a Teletubby. Let's see if you're right. So, something may be sleeping next door. Someone may be sleeping next door. If you live in Bridgeport, Connecticut, it is... Vera also says a cannibal Teletubby with an axe. You know what? The people who are most right here is actually Min and Vero. because the answer's actually A and C. Well done. Yeah, it's an axe-murdering cannibal. However, most people said B, so I'll take that as a win. B and C can be equally as frightening, says Mr. Cruthando. So yeah, this is a real news story. Connecticut axe murderer who ate victims' brains and eyeball granted overnight leave. Yeah, this is terrifying and true. Again, good friends, I post the links in the Patreon, so if you support me there, you can see these. A man named Tyree Lincoln Smith, who had been committed to Whiting Forensic Hospital for a decade after murdering a man with an axe and consuming parts of his brain and eyeball, has been granted temporary overnight leaves. This decision was made on August 25th by the State Psychiatric Security Review Board. Smith was committed to a hospital in 2013 after being found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect during his trial. Wow. Imagine that. You're complaining about your neighbours. At least they're not going to eat your brain and eyes. Or maybe they will. Depends how much noise you make. Where did the idea of a Teletubby come from? Too random. Yeah, that was me. That was me being silly at 8 a.m. Oh, no, sorry, it was the elves. The elves came up with that one. It had to be B. So there you go, friends. It was A and C. Well done. And thank you so much for participating in this, my favorite part of the day, every single day. We've looked at so much from AGI becoming a focus of, or artificial general intelligence becoming a focus of OpenAI's future. The new trend of deepfakes using real news anchors in fake stories. And Microsoft being in trouble with the IRS owing $29 billion in back taxes. My God. And then we got into a fascinating discussion about the nature of what we value more, time or money. And overwhelmingly, people have said time there, which gives me hope for the future. All right, friends, guys, so many things you could have been doing on this beautiful Friday morning. Instead of doing those things, you took the time to spend some time with me, and it means the absolute world. I will see you on Monday.